Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Braino, I am playing his take on Bant Vial. If you follow Legacy closely, you'll know there is a deck called Vial that uses the card Aether Vial, as is the namesake of the deck, to help jump ahead on mana and eventually overwhelm your opponent with lock pieces and card advantage via a bunch of cool techie creatures. That is also what this deck is trying to do, but instead of black, we have green. One of the core pieces of the Vial deck is Baleful Strix. We have Icefang Coatl doing that job, and that does require a large number of basic lands to support this. Baleful Strix just having Death Touch all the time is a big difference than Icefang Coatl needing support from the mana base to do it. Vial is known for having kind of difficult mana if they don't have an Aether Vial around, and this deck sort of leans into kind of always having difficult mana because we have to play so many basics. And basically what we get for the trouble is access to Eternal Witness loops, Mana Dorks, and Carpet of Flowers out of the sideboard, and Night of Autumn in the toolbox. Vial is very much a prison deck, like it's trying to slowly squeeze the opponent's options out, and we have to do kind of the same thing here. And this list is really in on Soul Herder at the top end. There's 3 copies of Soul Herder. They're really trying to get something like Eternal Witness, looping card advantage, or Palace Jailer, resetting the Monarch, retaking new creatures every turn, and Venser, Shaper Savant, to bounce spells and lands out of here. Recruiter of the Guard ties the rune together. This is also a really exciting thing to blink with Charming Prince, Soul Herder, or Ephemerate. Reflector Mage, if you get that soul hurting, your opponent's going to have a really hard time keeping any creatures in play. This list, much like the Esper version, are basically white weenie prison decks with some flair. Kind of a twist on Death and Taxes, or a twist on Dead Gael, depending on what direction you want to come from. They are trying to do a similar thing, a familiar thing in the Legacy format, in a different kind of way. Every creature here has a job. Recruiter's job is to get the creature you need for the job, and then Soul Herder's job is to shut the door at the top end. The sideboard is just more of the same. A Meddling Mage for combo, Deputy of Detention for when you got to remove things. Deputy is what I'm looking at for Saga deck specifically. Exile Tiger, non-land permanent, and opponent controls and all other non-land permanents that player controls that share the same name as that permanent. That's one of the few ways this deck has to catch up on a board that's made a couple of constructs. Gilded Drake to steal big creatures, and there's a lot of ways to bounce and flicker this thing so you can steal multiple creatures. Hull Breacher, that's a scary one to come in off of Aether Vial, let me tell you as a blue player. Peacekeeper, creatures can't attack. That is pretty good in a lot of matchups. And Rest in Peace and Surgical Extraction to beat up on the graveyard. Looking at the build of this deck, I kind of wish there was a little more prison involved, like some Thalias, or maybe main deck the Meddling Mage, or something like that. Maybe have Mother of Runes in the deck to protect your creatures, because Force of Will in this deck is not really a plan. It's just sort of in case of emergencies. I kind of, like, my instinct is to change this deck so it has 4 Mother of Runes, maybe move the Force of Wills to the sideboard, and use Mother of Runes as the counterspell for removal, and go heavier on lock pieces so you don't need to counterspell so much because your opponent can't even cast them. But we're talking about a full rebuild of the fundamental thing this deck is doing at this point, so I'm not going to do that to Braino's deck. The only change I've made is Braino had 2 Gilded Goose, and I turned them into 2 Noble Hierarch. I think that the reliable mana off of Noble Hierarch is going to be more important than occasionally tapping for black to cast your 1-of Plague Engineer. We'll see if that comes up in the league, but I think that Noble Hierarch is going to be better in almost every situation. My read on this is we're going to have a good time versus fair decks, and we're going to have a tough time versus unfair decks. And let's hope the league is kind in that regard. Let's jump into it. I am on the draw in round 1. I have a mana accelerant. I'm really glad this is Noble Hierarch and not Gilded Goose, because I think we're going to need this mana. I am going to keep the hand. The Noble Hierarch is really important here because I'm going to have to fetch basic forest to cast the Hierarch, and then I would like to develop my snowlands for the Coatl, but I can cast them off Underground Sea if I need to. Opponent mulled to 5 and then played Windswept Heath. Not sure what deck would do that, but please leave my Hierarch alone. Not fetch in the end step. That probably means they're trying to draw lands. Oh god, it's the Bant mirror. No, it's Sylvan Library. I think that is definitely worth apparitioning. Yeah, if your opponent mulls to 5, kind of go all in on that that library, I want to take it out. Yavimaya is actually really helpful for me. I was just talking about how the Hierarch is important for mana, but now Underground Sea tapping for green gets me Eternal Witness. I got options. Skyclave Apparition is a really good Magic card. I don't play with a lot of it because that's generally not the type of deck I'm in, but really good stuff. Force of Will, thanks for showing up. I think I want to brainstorm before I do anything else. Okay, yeah, finding Soul Herder, I think, is good. I'm going to want that eventually. I don't think I need Eternal Witness right now, and I would like to keep a blue card in my hand for Force. Okay, here's my plan. I'm going to attack for 3, see if they block, which they won't, because that would be a really bad block at 19 life. It's chump blocking with your card advantage engine. Not a good play. Exalted coming in clutch. My plan is to plow the Ramonep Excavator and then hold up Coatl and Force of Will. Again, I'm just taking out their card advantage engines. They mulled to 5, take out the library, take out the Excavator. I want each of their cards to only be worth 1 card. Okay, I'm gonna cast the first Coatl to get it on board. It's gonna draw the second Coatl, and I'll pitch the second Coatl to Force of Will. Oh wait, no, I'm holding Knight of Autumn. What the fuck? No, this card resolves. I don't care. Yeah, all right. I'm still getting accustomed to what all the creatures in this deck actually do. And that Knight of Autumn is a good one. I will destroy target artifact or enchantment. Take out the Sylvan Library, and then I'm going to attack for 3 just with Skyclave Apparition. Attacking with Coatl and Apparition does the same amount of damage, but this one leaves black a flying blocker. I don't expect them to be able to assemble Merit Lage right now or have a haste creature, but it's free. Arrakis, I need to pay attention to which of my creatures are legends, because it is a non-zero number of them. It's weird that they keep tapping out of white when their white lands also make green. It seems like they're just giving me for free information that they don't have plow. I could Force of Will this, or I could play Soul Herder, Flicker, Skyclave Apparition in the end step and get rid of it. That gives them a 2-2, but I don't care about a 2-2. Yeah, I'm going to save my Force of Will. This deck is about being patient, being careful, making sure your opponent can't cheese you when you're not looking. Okay, I'm going to attack for 3 with Knight of Autumn. I don't actually want to offer the trade with Skyclave Apparition. I don't think they'd take it, but I don't want to offer it either. And they take that 3. Then Soul Herder. And in the end step, I'll Flicker Apparition, which grows the Herder. And then when I get the 2-2, then I exile Knight of the Reliquary. Or they have crop rotation for Sajiri Step. And I'm going to be really glad I saved my Force of Will. They are now Hellbent. Soul Herder is going to get bigger when the Apparition exiles as well. Exiles the Knight, because Soul Herder doesn't care how a creature was exiled, just that it was. So Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, Skyclave Apparition, all of these things trigger Soul Herder. And they're out of juice. Oh, wow. They scooped the whole match. They've had enough. That was awesome. On to the next round. I'm on the draw, and I have an Aether Vial. I'm going to keep. Breeding Pool tapped. What the shit is this? I am going to lead on my island and play Vial. I had the option to lead on a different land, fetch plains maybe. I'm never playing Noble Hierarch over Aether Vial. Like, I don't think that would come up. I'm trying to imagine a situation where I would lead on Hierarch instead of Vial, and I'm not thinking of one. Oh, it's this deck. Okay, this is a Field of the Dead deck. There is a deck that plays 8 mulches that has been making the rounds. It's actually in my queue to get played eventually. But yeah, Mana Bond is a scary one. Even scarier when you're not drawing spells. Though my opponent chose not to Mana Bond this turn, which I like. Maybe do that some more. Fetch Catria Triumph. Yeah, this is definitely some hyper-aggressive Field of the Dead deck. Transmute Teleria West, probably for Field of the Dead. Just get that going. Oh, Maze of Ith. Okay. Does that mean they already have Field? What's going on here? Are they going to dump with Mana Bond? Oh god, they had 2 fields already. Oh, that's why they didn't get it. This is fucking sweet. Let me see if I have an out to this in the main deck. Nope. I only have 1 Plague Engineer and no way to like copy it. The Deputy of Detention's in the sideboard. Yeah, we're dead. Very dead. Okay. Not being able to force the Mana Bond was basically that whole game. Like, look at their hand. It doesn't actually do anything other than yeet these cards into play, and there's no other spells involved. So this deck having a low blue count for Force of Will is responsible for 1 game loss already. Okay, Peacekeeper and Deputy of Detention definitely coming in. Knight of Autumn can kill a Mana Bond. Is that important? I don't have any way to pressure lands. Like, I don't play a back to basics. There's no wastelands in the deck. Because Venser technically can pressure lands, though we don't want to lean on that too hard. And Palace Jailer is not where I want to be for this matchup. Opponent just said in the chat they're looking forward to the YouTube commentary on that game. Yeah, I mean, didn't have Force of Will, and then something awesome happened. Big fan. I'm not salty. Meddling Mage on Mana Bond could be a thing. Knight of Autumn answers Mana Bonds. Like, if this game really is just about Mana Bond or bust, I don't think I need Reflector Mage. Skyclave Apparition does answer Mana Bond. I mean, Mana Bond being a 1-drop is tough. Plague Engineer. I don't have 2 of them, and the first one is not enough against a horde of zombies. Solitude doesn't seem like it's enough either. Yeah, I think tutoring up Peacekeeper, building up... What do I have to do with Peacekeeper in play? Can I make a flying creature big enough? I don't think that's even a thing I can do. Like, Peacekeeper has to do what? Like, deck them? Uh-oh. This is actually really... This is a tough one. Not even sure how I win this match if they do the thing they want to do. So I guess I just got to make sure it can't be done. Okay, I have Force Blue card this time. I'm going to keep. I don't want to have to Force Blue card because that's my whole hand. Oh, I should have cut some Swords to Plowshares before I started cutting Solitudes. Whoops. Yeah, that was a mistake. Solitude can at least attack and block. Ryome. Oh god, getting worse, and it's all my fault. I deserve this. Deserve every piece of it. Really hope I don't have to Force of Will this turn, because I really need this Brainstorm to make my hand playable. So, I think I have to go for the Brainstorm and find a different blue card. Oh, that's so reckless. My hand's so bad. No, okay, fine. I'm just gonna take my medicine here. And trust my deck to produce cards. Okay, that's a card. It is... If they don't Mana Bond right now, if they don't have the second one right now, next turn Aether Vial can clip Bond before it gets a trigger. Oh, okay. I'm less embarrassed about these Swords to Plowshares now. Yeah, let's get that out of there. On the front half. Don't want to think about the back half. Oh, Tabarnacle. That card's tough to beat with my creature deck. The Wasteland is right there, but I think that's okay. Though looping Venser with Caracas is one of my endgame plans here. The fact that I've offered no pressure whatsoever means that even without Mana Bond, they're just going to be in the Field of the Dead pretty soon. Jeez. It's lots of Uros. I was... Okay, I was going to let the trigger resolve and hope they didn't have Caracas, but they just fired off the Caracas anyway and let me get my plow in. Awkward. But still, they're at 38 life, about to be in Field of the Dead, whether I like it or not. Didn't even need a Mana Bond. This match feels unwinnable. Oh, Ephemerate. Yeah, that's what I need. Yeah, having to pitch that Brainstorm, collapsing my hand, did end up using those 2 plows, so I'm glad I didn't just bury them, but tough crowd. Seiju. Yes. Do I want to put my Apparition in? I mean, sure. I have the Ephemerate, so let's get this thing in here. Yep, just 2/2 creature. And then Beseiju, I will happily search my deck for a basic forest. Cracking off the Wasteland is Loam in my near future. I didn't board for Loam, and I probably pretty obviously should have. Oh no. Yep. Didn't bring in my Rest in Pieces or anything. I was so scared of the mulch plan, I didn't even think about the, you know, very obvious graveyard engine that they have. And being at 40 life, oh my god, and just milled over Punishing Fire. We don't need to keep doing this. I'm not going to torture myself or the viewers to play through this one. This deck is built to be like the fairest of the fair and just outfair creature combat, and my opponent is built to play a totally different type of Magic than my deck is, even on the axis of considering. We're done. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I am on the draw again. I'm going to keep my hand. It does have 2 Quaddles and the mana to cast them. Ooh. Mountain Go. What deck does that? It's like Burn or like Goblins with a slow start or like Red Prison. What is happening? Oh, okay, it is Red Prison. Got you. Pitch to Blood Moon. Yeah, when... Oh my god, just casting Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, I mean, that's really smart. I feel like some number of players might have been tricked by the turn 2 Blood Moon, but when your opponent leads on Prismatic Vista, that is a deck that's full of basic lands, and my opponent acted accordingly, and mad respect for that. I'm just going to take 4 here. I'm not going to chump block with a Quaddle when I could reasonably get a Death Touch trade next turn. Really worried about Chandra here. Okay, there are not 2 mountains coming out of here to redirect this Chain Lightning. Oh, this is some sort of like aggro stompy thing. Oh god. Blackheart's not beatable. I guess I will fetch for a Waddle first. See if I can cantrip into Force of Will. Nope. Okay. Okay, I can fetch basic planes here, which is kind of what I need to do. They have 1 card left in their hand. This thing does trample. The second Coatl and fetch basic planes. I have 2 Death Touch blockers. I could take 5 trample. 2 cards in their hand. This moves. Yeah, Giantess Incinerators. Yeah, okay. So if they bolt me, they also get to bolt my Coatl. That's how Incinerator works. Okay, if they have any spell at all ever, I lose. Oh, that card gains 4 life. I'm going to block the one that doesn't trample, and hope they can't deal 1 damage to me at any point in this game with their burn deck. All right, Palace Jailer, go get them. You have a land in hand, and your next draw will also be a land. Just let me get this Knight down and gain 4 life, and then you can start drawing spells again. That's the deal. Or I could draw Force of Will right now, but I'm at 1. That doesn't even help. Nothing that deals damage. Nothing that deals damage. Roiling Vortex. That deals 1 in my upkeep. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. Really interesting deck. Hopefully, I think we have the tools to beat this thing. I think I win this game on the play. If I'm at 7 instead of 1 on this turn, Apparition can hit Vortex, and then Knight can gain life. Okay, yeah. That was a weird play draw game. Knight gains life. Don't think I want Flusterstorm. I don't think I need Plague Engineer either. Deputy of Detention is a removal spell, kinda. Peacekeeper. Be tough to keep this thing alive, but powerful if it stays around. Do I want to Meddling Mage? Does it do anything? Unclear on both counts. What cards are less good? Solitude's big. Icefang Quaddle actually seems pretty poor, but it is a Force of Will blue card. Yeah, I have to cut 2 more cards here. Fencer can stabilize a board. Reflector Mage could be pretty huge. Maybe I need to like chill on Soul Herders, because that doesn't work until I'm stable. But ugh. Yeah, this is tough. Maybe it's Coatls. I want to make sure I lead on something. I want to maximize leading on something that pushes my mana, whether it's Hierarch or Vial. So I don't want to cut Hierarch. Maybe Eternal Witness is worse than Coatl. I'm going to try this. Yeah, I do have Force blue card, and I have removal and cantrips. I guess if I plow, then I don't have Coatls. I'm still keeping this. I can't currently fetch a basic land. See how this shakes out. Okay, good. Now I can fetch a basic land. Or no, I still can't if I want to cast Coatl and my other cards. But I can make that judgment later. Eidolon of the Great Revel. I'm just going to plow that. Yeah, that's fine. I can fetch Plains, cast Swords to Plowshares on that. 1-for-1 answer. Oh, there's Venser. I'm ready to dominate when it's time. Okay, I'm going to respond to this with Coatl and see what I come up with. Rooter of the Guard. I don't think I want to force this Coatl, or this Eidolon. I feel like I want to tangle in combat with it. And if I draw a blue source, oh wow. Now I don't even need a blue source, I just need like any land. Or I need a blue source for Venser or a white source for Jailer. Okay, I'm going to attack with Coatl and then play Soul Herder. I'm just going to get to work hurting. If I can get Soul Herder big enough, then I don't care about the Eidolon in combat. Force of Will I can pitch without taking 2 from Eidolon. Pitching the other Coatl. Flicker, Soul Herder gets bigger, and I draw a card. Ephemerate. Okay, that's pretty awkward with Eidolon. It's desperately trying to squeeze a land out of this situation somewhere. I think this is worth a Force of Will. They might pivot and just like get me with something bigger, but okay. Alright, fought and won the fight over Soul Herder. Alright, come on deck. White source. White source, while I still have life points to fight this game on. White source. Fuck. Ugh. Not like this. I'm gonna brainstorm. Ephemerate's not really helping me here. I need a land. Oh my god. Oh my god. My life is pain. Well, Ephemerate just became useful. I can pitch it to Solitude. Okay. Cast, pitching Ephemerate. Or I guess I could have cast, pitching Jailer, and then Ephemerated the Solitude, but I don't think that's... Yeah, maybe I messed up that line. I was a little married to the Recruiter here. A Rolling Vortex would have obliterated me if I... Yeah, okay. Alright, so I have to draw the Brainstorm. There's a Brainstorm under Brainstorm, and then 2 more cards. I'm gonna swing for the fences here. If I hit a land... Why would I hit a land? Why would I ever think that I would hit a land in my life? Okay, if I put back Reflector Mage and Brainstorm, I can play Hierarch and attack. Hierarch, at least, is kind of a land, but I wanted an actual real land to cast Recruiter and shuffle my deck. But instead, here we are. They have 4 cards in their hand. I'm at 9 life. Chain Lightning, I'm at 6. I'm F6'd. If they can burn me out, they win. Okay, I'm at 3. I imagine you can figure out how to kill me. They only need to deal 2. Yeah, wow. Fire Blast into your Roiling Vortex. No fear. Yeah, that matchup was... I lost game 1 because I was on the draw, and then I lost game 2 because I couldn't hit my 4th land drop. And it's turn 6. I've Brainstormed twice, cantripped off Coatl, and 4th land drop was just not interested in arriving. I feel like this matchup's probably good, like in the scheme of all matchups you could play against, but yeah, unfortunate how that shook out. But I mean, that's the type of deck that you can't stumble against, and they certainly punished my stumble. On to the next one. I am on the draw for the 4th consecutive round. I'm going to keep my hand. Uh-oh, it's a Saga deck. I was worried about those. What flavor of Saga is this? Oh no. What's going on over there? Jeez. Yep, play draw. Play draw all the time. That is a reasonable criticism of decks like this one, where you're trying to get ahead on mana in one way or another, and if you're on the draw, then your mana engine, whether it's Vial or Hierarch or whatever, takes an extra turn to get rolling. And Chalice of the Void, instead of having Noble Hierarch in play, easily playing Knight of Autumn and taking over the game, we simply have a bunch of uncastable cards in hand instead. Good stuff. Opponent went all in on that, though. They are not capable of making constructs. I will count that as a W wherever I can. Oh shit, I forgot to respond. If they get Pithing Needle. Rude. Alright, they got Mox Opal. Whoops. Guess this deck may or may not have Pithing Needle in it because it's a Chalice deck. I don't know. Saga lets you get away with a lot of weird stuff. Oh, is this Kappa? Yeah, it is. Okay. It'll be tough to beat for my creature deck. Okay. I think this is the first appearance of Kappa Cannoneer on this channel. Oh, good. I found a Charming Prince. Can let me at least scry 2, which is too late to be particularly helpful. I'm gonna get Island because that casts... Oh, maybe I wanted Forest. I was thinking like Soul Herder, but I have to make a decision one way or the other here. I'm gonna scry 2 and hope they're out of gas before I'm dead. Show me 2 lands on top here. That's not it. Bottom. Yeah, this is a low land count deck. It is really counting on Aether Vial and Noble Hierarch to pick up the slack. And that's a dangerous gambit to play when you are under Chalice of the Void on the draw. Yeah, let's mock this one up on the play. Noble Hierarch in play. They play Chalice of the Void on 1. I can ignore the Chalice, Knight of Autumn, destroy their Urza Saga, and then on the next turn I play Soul Herder, and I'm just machine gun Knight of Autumning all of their permanents. And then on the following turn I can add Skyclave Apparition to that board, and at no point am I even worried about Chalice. Alright, that was well played. Just jam their Aether Spellbomb into Chalice. It's not going to matter though. They have this unblockable 6/6. I need a land right now. A green one. Not another. Trying to think of how this game could be winnable. And I don't think that it is. Yeah, the Chalice was just too good. I've grown extremely accustomed to 0 mana plays by playing Bant when you have 5 or 6 forces plus endurances. It's a very different thing. Okay, I want another Knight in play. I probably want Meddling Mage to name Kappa. That's might be my best way to beat that card. Peacemaker also buys me a lot of time to fight the Kappa. Ball Breacher seems playable here. Palace Jailer seems really bad. Swords to Plowshares. That can't really hit Kappa anyway. Ephemerate seems like I'm hoping for a lot against the Chalice deck. Plague Engineer. Do I think they're going to be a Thopter producing version of this deck? I guess that's extremely likely. Sai and Kappa are really good friends. Apparition's good, Recruiter's good, Prince is good. I need all of my mana acceleration. Soul Herder's important. Reflector Mage seems medium bad. Okay, this is what I'm going to do here. Okay, I have a Vial and lands and interactive objects. Here's my Vial. Ooh, this is worth a Force of Will. Okay. Force pitching Sai. Okay. It's correct to leave Plague Engineer in the deck. Saga. Metal. How far are we going here? I don't mind a Chalice this game. Another Knight is pretty good. My plan is to Knight zapping Urza Saga on my turn before it gets to tutor or make a second construct. There's a bauble. Blue, 1/2. That's not enough to Kappa here. If they bauble me on my turn, okay, they did it now. That's smart. It showed them the Knight of Autumn. Yeah, if they waited till my turn, there may have been a conversation about Hull Breaching to stop the card draw instead. But we don't have to make that decision. I'm just fetching all of my non-basics here. I might need that Underground Sea. I don't have any other black active. Like, they took out my Vial. So now the sea is my only path to answer a Sai, go wide strat. Oh, force pitching Thought Monitor. I am going to force back here. Do I want to get rid of... I'm going to pitch the Deputy. I think Hull Breacher is probably better if we're in this, like, scrappy little situation. Okay, they can have a 1/1 creature. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You're not going to distract me taking out the Saga. What's going on over there? What's left in your hand? I feel like if I can get Hull Breacher down before they reload, that'll shut most reasonable doors that exist. They can't really attack. They're losing the race. Okay. Or not. I'm going to fight back here. So their hand does not contain a land. Okay. They must have just drawn that. They would have played it already. Alice on 1. That's fine. That does make Construct Token too big. I was looking forward to eating it with Hull Breacher. Still attacking. Okay, Hull Breacher, go. And I can Knight of Autumn to destroy Chalice. I could Knight of Autumn to destroy a Construct. I could Knight of Autumn as a 4/3. All of those are good on this board. I think I want to destroy Chalice, though. Like, I'm not worried about a 1/1 creature. And, like, there are 1-drops in my deck that I could draw. Guess I boarded out my Ephemerates, huh? Those would have been pretty good draws at this stage. But, I mean... we had to get to this stage to get to a place where, like, I have 3 sideboard cards right now. The second Knight, the Hull Breacher, and the Meddling Mage are all sideboard cards. If I had drawn Ephemerate instead of one of those, things may be much worse. Okay, I can still attack with my Knights right now. I'm not going to give them Hull Breacher. Keep pushing damage there. I think Meddling Mage on Kappa Cannoneer is better than holding up Force of Will. Kappa Cannoneer. Memory is pretty good. Is a repeatable source of artifacts over time. A Pithing Needle, Mox Opal. There's a Chalice, Bauble over there. Bauble does... oh, no, Bauble does not dodge Hull Breacher. This is the harsh version. It's the Chains of Mephistopheles version, not the Narset version. If they trade Construct for Meddling Mage, that's a mana they don't have for Kappa anyway. If I attack with everything, they have to block Hull Breacher. Or they could block 2 other creatures, but I imagine they would trade with Hull Breacher, and then... I'm just going to keep pushing damage right now. I don't believe they have an artifact with Flash they can put into play right now. Okay, trading off with Meddling Mage. That's okay, because I'm going to Recruiter of the Guard for Soul Herder, which is also a blue card for Force of Will. Yeah, it's blue for Force, and it just will win the game if I can play it. My opponent has to block 3 of these creatures next turn, while adding to the board for next turn. I'm not sure how we lose this one. And they can't draw extra cards because of Breacher. Okay, they agree with my assessment on that one. I would like to Swords to Plowshares Emery. There is a Krakus in my deck. I don't want to bring in, like, Rest in Peace and that kind of shit. I'm really worried about their control hands. Like, if they have, like, Stable Mana and Emery, both games they've kept kind of an all-in on Urza Saga that didn't really pan out situation. But if they keep a hand with just Stable Mana and Emery and stuff, That's really scary. Chalice is so annoying. Like, I have a million answers to Chalice in my deck, and a lot of things that just ignore Chalice outright, but if I load up too much on Swords to Plowshares, like, the more I expose myself to Chalice, the worse it gets for me. I could board out the Hierarchs and bring in Plow, and I don't want Gilded Drake. That's not where this is going. You're bringing 2 Plows, and this is the same exposure to Chalice that I had before. A little slower to develop if they don't have Chalice, but it does react to Emery better. And we've seen Psy now. Okay. I'm gonna go the 2 Plow version. Oof. This one is not really a keeper, no matter how you slice it. I'm gonna mulligan. This one I can keep. And I think I'm sending Eternal Witness to the bottom. This is just really slow, but at least the mana's stable, and it ignores Chalice. I don't love this hand, don't get me wrong, but it's not worth sending. Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Mox Opal, uh-oh. What horrific turn 1 is waiting for me now. Chalice, do they have Emery too? Okay, nope, just dumping out artifacts. It's fair. There's Force of Will with no blue card. It's alright. I kept his hand. I knew what I was in for. Thought Cast. Okay. Bauble. Of some mana floating and pass the turn. Is there a Savannah in this deck? I feel like there's not. No. Okay. Then I am going to lead on Plains, because I want to either recruit or Apparition next turn, and if I play Flooded Strand, then there's not a Savannah to get green with. Like, I would want green and white mana, and I don't have both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can Kappa here. I don't have the blue to fight it. Chalice on 2. Okay. It's a little alarming. 3 is where most of my action is. I'd love to see a blue card here. Close. If I jam Skyclave Apparition into Force of Will, I'm just going to do it. If these Chalices get out of control, that's bad for me. They would need Ancient Tomb and Lotus Petal to Chalice on 3 next turn. And I think if they're going to spend a force on something, I would rather recruit than answer a Chalice that I might not need to answer. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the Chalice on 2. They had a really crazy start, but their board is kind of pitiful right now. And they have not developed any further. Oh, there's the Hull Breacher. They would have seen that off the bauble. Do I hold up Hull Breacher? I don't think so. Like, they don't have blue mana right now to even cast a draw spell. What is this shit? What are you going to do with 2 colorless mana right now? Oh, Dismember. That's cool. Yeah, sure. That's gone. They get a 0 token that dies immediately. Now I can hold up and deploy Hull Breacher, but I suspect they have a Force of Will. I'm going to recruit. Let's try to shut this down one way or the other. I'm going to get Soul Herder. And then Soul Herder can start flickering Recruiter. Uh-oh, blue mana. That was the punish if I don't hold up Hull Breacher. They are at 8 life with Ancient Tomb as their mana source. Like that. I'm going to fetch for Tropical Island right now in my upkeep. And attack for 1. And now I have another blue card I can pitch. I can protect this with Force of Will while keeping my Hull Breacher around. Okay. Or that can just resolve. Let's flicker. Okay. Options are Night of Autumn to start picking off the other things. Venser is a counter spell that also answers onboard problems. Yeah, I'm actually just in for Venser. Let's go. I love Venser. For those young folks or new to Legacy folks, back in the day when Top Miracles was the best deck, Joe Lissette broke the format by putting Cavern of Souls and Caracas in his Miracles deck. And he just had this like Cavern on Wizards plan. So his Snapcaster Mages, Vendilion Clicks, and Vensers were uncounterable. And then he could pick up Vendilion Click and Venser with the Caracas. And it may not look like much, but when you're against a control deck, as powerful as Miracles. Karaka's picking up Venser to bounce your spell. All of it's uncounterable every turn is utterly dominating. Speaking of utterly dominating, I don't even need to add to the board right now. I have double force, double blue card. I'm about to flicker my Recruiter again. I am not sure how they win this game, honestly. I'm going to grab a bonus Hull Breacher. Okay, they have to get through 3 counter spells right now. Okay, strong start. Leaned a little too hard on Chalice. It got me game 1, and then I reconfigured my board and plan and mulligan decisions to try to ignore it in game 2 and game 3, and they just really didn't do anything. They cast a Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, and then just died. That was great. On to the final round. On the draw, 5 times in a row. You can all go to the tapes. It's all there. I think this is my 4th league in the past 2 weeks where I've gone 0-5 on die rolls. I'm going to keep my hand and hope it's a fair matchup. I just recorded a league the other day. You've probably watched it by now. It was a Chalice of the Void deck where I was on the draw every single round. That matters a lot in your Chalice of the Void deck, just saying. Well, we're against ninjas, where having 2 Swords of Plowshares is a big game. Tilt. Don't have time for that one. And there is still not a Savannah in the deck. So I'm not going to be able to cast Plow and Hierarch on 1 land. I'm just going to get my Tundra. Ninjas usually doesn't play Wasteland. Hold up. I'm going to Plow on their upkeep. They can't use black mana to fight Swords to Plowshares. They can't daze. Just want to play around Force of Negation at least. I think this is free to do. Okay, yeah. My opponent is a member of the Austrian Legacy League, and they wanted me to shout that out on YouTube. What's up, Austria? One of the earliest donation decks I ever did, probably close to 2 years ago at this point, was from a member, I think the founder of the Austrian Legacy League. It might actually be who I'm playing against right now. I don't know the Moto name. Yes, Philip Klein, I just checked my records, was my 3rd ever donation league I accepted, and he is a member of the Austrian Legacy League. So, good for you, Austria. Keep it up. I'm going to fetch Basic Forest, play Noble Hierarch, and this Retrofitter Foundry is actually really tough on my Swords to Plowshares strat. That island is tough on my Daze strat. But if they do ninja this Ornithopter, I can target the ninja with Plow, at least. But we're at the point where Force of Will protects them. Can't block, it has flying. As much as I would like to smush butts between my Noble Hierarch and your Ornithopter, it's not a play I have available to me. Let's see if those 2 cards in your hand are counterspells. They're not. Okay. The hand is Ornithopter and 2 mystery cards right now. Alright, Thoppy's back. Ooh, Witness can get back Swords to Plowshares. That's a nice one. I have to fetch for Tropical Island first, though. Drop. I was going to recruit this turn, but Eternal Witness does change the math significantly. I was going to recruit to like figure out what to do about the next wave, but if I can handle this wave with my face-up cards and just like Soul Herder next turn for like a loop, Swords of Plowshares looping Hardlock against the creature deck, sign me up. Okay, made a 4/4. I'm going to Plow on their turn for the same reasons, though they did just untap into 3 mana that if they had Force of Negation, I would have preferred 2 cards get lost instead of 1. But here we go. Now I got to beat Retrofitter Foundry. I think I want to attack with my 3/2. Thanks, Exalted. This is not an attack I would make if I didn't have Exalted, so Noble Hierarch coming in clutch there over what Gilded Goose would have done. Then I can Recruiter and hold up Ephemerate, or I could Soul Herder and just keep cranking out Swords to Plowshares, but I think I want to recruit for Knight to take out the Foundry, and then I think I'm good from there. Or I could play Engineer on Servo. That's messed up. I want Knight. I'm going to have all of these options available eventually. Now I have to decide if I want to go like hard on Ephemerate or wait until they play a removal spell. Offering the trade. Oh wait, no they're not. They are representing a ninja. Right. I'm gonna block. And I will Ephemerate here. Let's go. Does play into removal for like a pretty big blowout. But I can force pitching the Soul Herder, though I don't think I want to do that. Towards the Plowshares. Oh, you're a white ninja deck. Very tricky. Yeah, this is not something I want to do. I think Soul Herder will do more than Recruiter will. Though if I force, I could have recruited a Soul Herder. Whoops. Yeah, I think maybe I messed that one up. That was an important detail. Oh, yeah. All right. Night of Autumn. Let's go. Take out the Retrofitter Foundry. Do they want to make a Thopter or a second servo? That'll tell me a lot about the hand. Okay, second servo is the choice. I'm not going to block 2 servos with my 2 creatures. Like, I can absorb a hit from a ninja here if they have a ninja to get my Soul Herder chonking next turn. And I'm pretty happy to pitch the Brainstorm to Force of Will if I need to do that. That's not a huge deal. I'm going to block one of these, and if the other wants to become a ninja, that's fine. Because it's gone forever, unlike other creatures. It's a token, it leaves play, it's gone. And I can recoup my Swords to Plowshares this turn with Force backup. Like lands. Eternal Witness, go. And white, blue, colorless, Soul Herder. We have 1 card left in hand. Get to flicker the Eternal Witness, throw the Herder, get back Plow, which also grows the Herder. And I'm going to plow the Ingenious Infiltrator right away. I guess I should have plowed Changeling Outcast because Soul Herder is bigger than Outcast. Yeah, that would have been smarter. I hope this engine is too good and it doesn't matter, but it would have been better to hit Changeling Outcast. Because now they can re-ninja, where I would have just blocked with a 3/3. Yep, punished for it. I deserve it. I won't make that mistake again. I'll just leave my big creature in play. Oh, they didn't redeploy their little guy. In that case, I'll just attack. In for 5. And then Charming Prince. Okay, white, colorless, Charming Prince. I think I want to flicker Eternal Witness with this. So that goes away. And then in the end step, unfortunately, the way that triggers work, I can't flicker Witness twice, but I can get Witness back, get back my Plow, and then I can flicker Charming Prince, who can re-exile Eternal Witness, and then I get a spell back in their end step as well. And now we're looping. And I'm just going to Plow right now. They didn't redeploy the Outcast, which indicates a 3-drop. This might be the Force of Negation I've been playing around for as long as I have. Yeah, and I'm ready to cash in my Force of Will here. I have 2 cards in hand. One of them is Changeling Outcast, so I know there's not going to be a Force coming because Outcast isn't blue to pitch to it. That was a pretty cool game. That was definitely a mistake, the not going after Outcast, but managed to get through it. Okay, this is the type of matchup where my deck should be good. I am playing to the board. Their Swords to Plowshares are kind of scary. I think I want Flusterstorm more than I want Force of Will. And Plague Engineer is kind of good against the deck where all the cards have the same words on them. A little worried about Ephemerate. Ephemerate's been kind of a weak link in the deck. I did mess up the Ephemerate turn last turn, but I still don't really love it. Palace Jailer seems really risky against the deck with unblockable creatures. I'll break turn Knight. I lose Force. Yeah, I think just playing to the board is how I want to do this. The Esper ninja business is slightly concerning. Swords to Plowshares is pretty good against my deck. If I had Mother of Runes in my deck, I would bring in Peacekeeper, but I don't. So I don't think trying to protect Peacekeeper is really that viable. They are an island deck for carpets, but they don't attack my mana, so I don't need to like recoup anything. I just need to make sure my mana is playable. Okay. I'm going to go like this. I don't think this is a Gilded Drake matchup. I was giving them a flying creature they can ninja with, but like, does? Oh god, how does that even work? If you ninjutsu a creature I own, I just don't have the text of ninjutsu in front of me. I'm sure this is easier than advertised. Oh god, this is the moment. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, like the do you force Ornithopter question? I've been on the ninja side enough times where it's like my opponent forces Ornithopter and I just follow up with another Ornithopter or a Changeling Outcast, and then you just got like a completely free him to Turok. And then I've been on the other side where it's like they didn't force the Ornithopter and then I don't cast a spell again because ninjutsu is not a spell. It's kind of a tough balance. They did not shuffle the library, so I fully expect a ninja to hit me next turn. And if it hits next turn, it's probably hitting the turn after that too. Oh, good. No ninja. I guess they could have Moon Circuit Hacker. That does cost 1, but I don't know if that's a playable legacy card. I just don't know where they would fit it into the 60 card list if that's a card that they're playing. We're going to find out now. Nope. All right. Didn't even attack. Very honest. That card is not present in the deck. Another Knight. I fear they might be too late, but I'm going to brainstorm and try to find myself a Swords to Plowshares. All right, we got there. Forest and Plains can go away. I'm going to fetch that Plains anyway. And now we've confirmed seen Force of Negation, so got to watch out for that one. I was playing around it just because we're in a legacy format, but now we've actually seen that they have it. What's going on here? This is Teferi. I'm getting juked. Rest in peace. Oh, I did do some Eternal Witness stuff last game. Okay. I was like, did I even use my graveyard? I play Rest in Peace in my own sideboard. But yes, I did do the Eternal Witness thing last game. Oh, now I don't even need to plow. Which also mean... Oh, they could have Back to Basics. I should watch out for that. I am going to get Snow Plains. Vial goes up to 2. Solitude is nice. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up Brainstorm, Solitude, Force of Will. There's a lot of action here. I could also Brainstorm. And Brainstorm is my blue card. I just want to win a fight over the ninja on the removal spell. Retrofitter Foundry. All right, I have Knight available. Next turn, Kaya. Yikes. 1 card left in their hand. I am not ready to fight a Kaya, especially since it exiles Aether Vial. That was good bait, though. Retrofitter Foundry, usually a pretty scary card. 1 card left in hand. Oh, I can't plow because it'll just thop it. Thop it right now. Okay, Vial on 3. And then I can fetch Basic Forest. I'm just respecting Back to Basics. It would be silly to lose a game to Back to Basics that I feel like I'm about to win. Is their last card Daze? That would be disappointing. Destroy Retrofitter Foundry. They get to make 1 4/4 on the way out, and I can destroy that also. Made a 4/4, lost the Foundry. Put in another one of these. This one's going to destroy the 4/4. And I can pitch Solitude if I feel like I need to react in a big way this turn. They've not indicated a ninja is in their hand yet this game. Oh, that's really good. Shit. Alright, goodbye, Dryad Knights. I don't know how many cards in my deck are Dryads or Knights, but I think I'm good on Dryads. And Vial's just going to stay on 3. In Solitude is not nothing, but I'm not going to take a Vial off 3 when Recruiter of the Guard and Soul Herder and all these things are in my deck. Okay, the Ornithopter is attacking now. I'm going to save my Plow for a ninja. There's Yuriko. Plow, Yuriko. Oh, picking a Plague Engineer instead of Ornithopter is really smart. Now they can name a different creature type. Yeah, if they like name human on the way back down, that's a big deal. Okay, now I can Solitude. And they didn't have Daze on a previous turn. I can also Force. So my 5 mana are just up and running. And if they ninja me, I know the last card in hand is Plague Engineer. I don't care. Okay. Just the cheek attack. Cheeky one. Now I don't have to think about Daze anymore. Yeah, we are kind of in garbage time here. Do I want to Force of Will this? I guess so. And if we've both been like farting around this long, if they sandbagged a ninja on me and didn't ninja last turn, then good for you, you got me. But I just don't think that's the case, and I am right. Okay, another Vial. Get that one working. I'll eventually draw a Recruiter of the Guard and crack it open. Engineer is back. Human, yep, good call. This is a lot of lands. I do have Brainstorms left in my deck, so I'm not going to play the 7th land. That's not going to really change the game. Violent Hull Breacher, JK, don't have it. I chose to shuffle the Ponder. No Ornithopter attack. I'm going to sit on this Solitude with the patience of the Dalai Lama. I'm not going to fire it off on a 2-2 fucking Gray Ogre when I could blow out a Eureka with it. There's Hull Breacher, which is great because they pottered last turn and shuffled. So if I had Hull Breacher, I would have put it in last turn, which I clearly don't, though now I do. Okay, backup Vial's going to 3. I'm ready to draw Recruiter now and just have the complete access to my whole deck. Ugh. Deck's not interested in that cooperation, though. Gotta imagine there's a removal spell over there somewhere, or a counter spell, something. Some interaction. I don't believe I know any of the cards in their hand anymore. Another Plague Engineer. Okay. You're gonna back up on Human. Our name's Spirit. Back up on Human. Okay. I am gonna Solitude one of these now. They're currently tapped out of Force of Will, which leaving up Hardcast Force of Will really cracks what I'm capable of. So sneak this Solitude in here while I can. I'm gonna crack one of these fetches in the upkeep as well. Just get that minor deck thinning. Leave one of them in case I draw Brainstorm. Okay, please don't have Hull Breacher. Alright, patience kind of paid off there. Okay, I'm going to attack with Solitude. Regain some life points. They're going to have to react to this Coatl when they attack with Plague Engineer next turn. While there is some interest in Coatling in my main phase, like if I draw Charming Prince and could flicker Solitude all in the main phase, that's really good. But I think ambushing Plague Engineer is worth a lot. Even better if this flushes out a Force of Will. That's really great. Drew another Brainstorm. Death Touch versus Death Touch. Everything is touched all the way to death. Okay, Plow. Yeah, that's fine. I think I want to wait till my turn to Brainstorm so I have the most cards available. There's Charming Prince. Okay, I'm going to attack with Solitude first. See what happens. Okay, Solitude connected. I am winning the damage race. Brainstorm? Oh, yeah. Okay, Recruiter shuffles anyway, so if I put back Misty and Vista, I can Reflector Mage the Plague Engineer. Okay, I'm going to Charming Prince first. Exile another creature you own. Solitude. If this works, then I don't need a Reflector Mage. Okay, yeah, I'm just in business now. Solitude hit the Plague Engineer, and now I can go nutty with my Vials. There was like a wilder swing, like a full Babe Ruth home run swing if I just main phase the Reflector Mage, hit the Plague Engineer, get the Recruiter, cast Soul Herder. Like I could have the whole engine online. I just don't need to do all that. I can play more cautiously. I'm winning anyway. Don't need to open myself up to points of interaction that are unnecessary. And we got the GGs in the chat. Opponent agrees. Salvaged a positive record after that utter smushing from the Mana Bond deck. Wow. This was a cool league. This deck was a lot of fun to play. I will say it felt more like a modern deck on power level than a legacy deck. There are very few cards in this deck that are not modern legal. It's Caracas, Plow, Brainstorm, Force of Will, Palace Jailer, and in the sideboard, Carpet of Flowers, Gilded Drake, Peacekeeper. That's the entire list of cards in this deck that are not legal in Modern, which is not like automatically disqualifying. Like Brainstorm and Force of Will and Swords of Plowshares are really good cards. They're not Modern legal for reasons. And but like when we played against that mulch deck, or I actually think that burn matchup was completely winnable with just in an alternate timeline where we drew slightly different cards or won a die roll, we would win that burn matchup. But that lands deck felt completely unbeatable. You could change the deck to accommodate that sort of thing. Like if you had a clone effect where you could copy Plague Engineer. There is a clone that's also a land, like one of the modal double face cards from the last Zendikar set. There is a clone that's also a tapped blue source, if you want that, where something like that you can like double up on Recruiter or flicker that, becoming different things with Soul Herder. It does give you an out to Field of the Dead if you get 2 Plague Engineers in play, and then you can like flicker it into something proactive, and then once they get more zombies, flicker it back into a Plague Engineer. That could be a cool thing to exist in the deck. You can, of course, also play like Collector Oof. You could put Endurance in this deck. There's a lot of things that you could just tuck into the existing Recruiter package. And like I mentioned in the deck tech at the beginning of the video, you could also just rebuild this deck as like a Mother of Runes Thalia prison sort of deck. But also, like I said, that is just a different thing. This was a lot of fun. It put up a positive record. Brano, thank you for sharing it with me. Everyone else, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, check out the merch, all that stuff. The links are below the video. Thank you all. See you next time.